Hi there, my name's Will Beresford. I'm Strategy Director for Beyond Analysis, and this is a podcast for customer strategy. I've been asked to talk about what I think are some of the key themes that we should be looking out for in 2010. There are probably sort of four or five key things that I'd be thinking about in terms of keeping my eye on, and particularly with our clients in mind around the consumer. And I think they all probably stem from the sort of severe economic situation that we've all been experiencing for the past 18 months and are probably going to continue to experience for a little while longer. The first one for me would be around, as consumers, how our needs are changing, and as businesses, how do we keep track of that? How do we identify those and really understand how our consumers' needs are changing and where and in what direction? I think a really good example of that is 18 months ago, buying a bottle of branded water would be seen as a healthy lifestyle based choice. Perhaps today, with the new sort of mindset, we're now looking at that, and some of us thinking, you know what, transporting sort of French water or halfway across the continent to sell in stores in the UK is, maybe that's environmental carelessness. I think our perceptions and our motivations as consumers, as we decide on which products and services we're buying, there's a lot more things that we're taking into account, and we need to be very, very conscious of those and understand how those have changed and how that ultimately reflects in the products and services we offer. Tied in with that, I think, is the whole concept of consumer empowerment. I've been given an iPhone for Christmas, so I've spent the last few weeks downloading all sorts of different iPhone apps and playing with all sorts of great new toys, some of which are just absolutely phenomenal. So many of you may have seen Red Laser, where you can take your iPhone into store, scan a barcode, and instantly you're brought up the price of that product that you're looking at across any number of online retailers. You can compare the price, you can decide whether or not you're going to purchase in store, or whether maybe you just click on your iPhone and go straight to an online seller and purchase it there. I think the idea of us as consumers, or the challenges we've all faced in stretching our budgets and dealing with the recession and the sort of drop in our respective incomes, means that we've all become very, very good at searching out what's the right proposition, what's the right product or service for us. And I think that trend's here to stay. And the iPhone, I think, will only have, the capability that we see with things like iPhones and, of course, with the BlackBerry apps, is definitely going to sort of continue to grow, and that's going to have huge ramifications, particularly for the online retailers. Along the same veins, I think, looking at the shift from price to value, for the last few years, I think we've all been very comfortable selecting products or services, largely based on price. We've been educated by companies to look very closely at price. We see the sort of plethora of price comparison sites out there. But I think now more than ever, we're probably starting to consider value more. And what's the longevity of the product? Is it really worth me buying a piece of tap, even though it's very cheap, if it's going to break within the next 6 months? Or is it better for me to perhaps spend a little bit more and to have it last? I think some evidence of that could well be the fabulous sales results that we've seen at John Lewis. And I think certainly anecdotally, when you look at or you talk to certainly my peer group of friends, sort of we've all sort of gone through this sort of the last couple of years, for example, using price comparison sites for car insurance, home insurance, our utilities, and it was very easy to just pick up and select something based on the cheapest. But now, more so than ever, we're looking at what are the rankings and the ratings being given back by consumers in terms of what value, what's the service we're getting. So definitely a shift from price to value. What else? I think as well, probably the whole concept of solutions, and we're no longer in a situation where we have bottomless pits of credit or money available for us to, when something breaks, so in our house or with our car, we've sort of slightly got into the mentality of let's just go and replace it, or let's get someone else to fix it. And if you compare my generation, I'm sort of 35, coming on 40, without revealing anything. A lot of us have lost the manual competencies that our parents' generation have, and and they're quite used to fixing things, repairing things, and making things last. So when you're looking in some of the sectors like automotive or home improvement, DIY, I think solutions and helping customers sort of regain some of those manual competencies and enabling them to start to take on things that for the last few years they really haven't bothered to or haven't felt the need to, will be another sort of trend that we'll see. I think we all have to get much better at DIY and much better at repairing our own products and services if we want to save some money. I think the final thing I'd like to talk about is direct-to-customer communications. I can't help but notice a lot of businesses are really focusing on how they can improve the targetability and the effectiveness of their direct-to-customer communications. And I can't help but wonder, is this really relevant in today's age? The more I think about it, and I think about my own personal situation and those of my friends, I think, I barely have time to keep in touch with my own friends via Facebook or LinkedIn anymore. Do I really have any appetite left to maintain a relationship with suppliers of my shower gel or my clothes? I think we're moving into an era of voluntary engagement with brands, or if not moving already, we've moved into it. And from a personal perspective, I spent a lot of time over the Christmas period sort of playing around with my emails and tidying up my inboxes, and I must have unsubscribed from probably 30, 40 different schemes and newsletters and programs that really all they were doing was just cluttering my inbox. So I think we've got to rethink the way we talk to customers, the way we engage with them. I think there's been some really interesting exercises that have taken place with people like Innocent. They've done some great sort of events that integrate sort of lots of online activity, lots of real live activity with their village fetes and things. And I think ultimately what they've done is they've really engaged their customers in something of interest and something of real value where they're actually really involved in it. I think so. If I was to sort of summarize, I think direct communications have to take a completely different route from, moving forward. It's no longer good enough to just keep sending people stuff through the post. Again, every time I get something through the letterbox, I think, what a waste of paper. I think it's about it's providing me with the inspiration, with the incentive to voluntarily engage with the brand at the right time, at the right moment. And yeah, there's opportunities to talk to me then, but the rather sort of staid standard practice of let's put in a communications plan, let's just continually send stuff to our customers and hope that they'll eventually respond has got to change. It's really got to move on, or here's hoping. Anyway, I think enough from me. There's something I need to read out so that I get it right, and that is that you've been listening to Will Beresford, Strategy Director of Beyond Analysis, podcasting on behalf of Customer Strategy, the brand for customer-focused leaders in service, sales, marketing, and IT. If you have any comments today, which would be great, or about today's podcast, please go to customer-strategy.co.uk and tell us what's on your mind. Thanks very much, and thank you for listening.